Winter Survival is a survival crafting game released in March 2024 for PC. I received a key from Keymailer. Developers, thank you for a key. There are multiple modes to play, but they all follow a similar setup. You're playing as a survivalist who becomes lost in the mountains during a hiking trip and must adapt to the elements to survive. Story mode has you playing as Danny, who went on a hiking trip with his friends. During their adventure, they become separated, and Danny has to survive in the wilderness while looking for his friends and losing his mind. The gameplay is consistent with other survival crafting games. You need to find or build shelter, scavenge and hunt for food, find water, fight off hostile wildlife, watch your health, keep yourself from freezing, and explore to find tools to help you survive. You can self-craft some items, but for others, you need specific crafting stations to make them. You also have a survival instinct that highlights items you can pick up and use along with materials to collect. Sanity plays a big part in the gameplay, as losing your mind can cause you to hallucinate. If your sanity is too low and you go to sleep, there is a web of disorders you need to choose from that can change how you see the environment around you. The game constantly forces you to question whether what you're seeing is an actual danger or a symptom of your declining mental state. Story mode is extremely narrative-based and wants you to keep going forward with the story rather than just trying to survive. Certain crafting recipes can only be unlocked at certain parts of the story, so there's not a lot of room for sandbox-type play. One thing that's recently been added in is free crafting, which makes it easier to go through the story. The story itself is a bit confusing since it goes between the past and the present, making Danny question who he really is. The objectives can be very tedious and require a lot of backtracking. There's also no in-game map, so if there wasn't a marker telling me where to go, it took a while to figure out where I needed to go and how to get back. I made it close to the end of the game, but at that point the objectives required driving a trolley along the railroad tracks while searching for materials to repair it. Navigating this without clear markers combined with the amount of backtracking burned me out. I ended up watching the final 15 minutes of the story on YouTube to get closure, and even then, the ending felt confusing and ambiguous. Endless mode is a lot more fun since you can go wherever you want at any time and can learn crafting recipes by leveling up rather than needing to hit a story checkpoint. This ensures that each endless mode game won't be the same as the previous and gives you more variety of objectives to do. Endless mode is where the game feels a lot like a winter version of The Forest or Green Hell, which isn't a bad thing. I like these types of games, and I like having different environments to try and survive in. You can set up pretty much anywhere you want, and there aren't a ton of blueprints to use for building, but it worked well enough for me. Like The Forest, you can't stay in one spot for too long before the enemy comes looking for you. In Winter Survival, that big bad is the bear, who leaves footprints near your shelter area. When you check the footprints, it will tell you if they're old or new, and the longer you stay in one spot, the newer the footprints become, and then he'll show up to make your life hell. Cold Wave is a fast-paced survival mode where you have to collect as many gold bars as possible and raise your score. Cold waves come in after calm weather and get worse and worse the longer you're out there. The goal is to make it to the helicopter to escape before perishing to the elements or it leaving without you. This is clearly designed for shorter play sessions and repeat runs rather than long-term survival. The game's map isn't very big, but there is a good variety of areas to explore. One thing I noticed that bugged me a bit was the invisible walls right next to areas that looked like they could be explored. Usually Danny made a comment about the river being too high to cross, but other times he just hit an invisible wall. The graphics are nice, not amazing, but they look good to me. The music was really good too, and really hit that lonely, isolated feel for most of the game. There's also voice acting, which is also well done. I had fun with this game in survival mode. I didn't much care for story mode. However, Act 3 in story mode becomes more of a survival horror with some stealth sections that I didn't expect, and they were actually pretty scary moments. I won't spoil what happens in Act 3, but it made everything a lot more tense. I know one comparison people will be thinking about is how this game compares to The Long Dark. The Long Dark focuses more on constant movement and survival planning rather than setting up a semi-permanent base. As I said earlier, the game is a lot like The Forest and Green Hell. It feels like there are still things the developers can do to improve it, but endless mode is pretty satisfying. One recurring issue I ran into, and that other players have also mentioned, is that the game can crash on startup, often requiring at least one restart before it runs properly. It also takes a while to load into the game. All in all, Winter Survival is a fun survival crafting game that is similar to others but has a unique setting. It's $18.99 on Steam, which I don't know if a lot of people would want to pay that for what they get, but on sale, it's definitely worth it. There are things that the devs can work on to make it better, but they're actively updating it, so I'm sure it will get to a point where the positives vastly outweigh the negatives. If you like the forest and green hell, I recommend this game. If you're looking for something like The Long Dark, you won't find that here. If you just like survival crafting games in general, then give it a play. Thank you for watching the video. Leave a like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more content. Comment what is your favorite setting for survival crafting games? Like, do you like the jungle? Do you like the forest? Do you like outer space? Do you like the desert, etc., etc.? Thank you to everyone who supports me. I have a Patreon if you want to pledge to me just to support me, like I said. I have a Redbubble. I also have a demo for my game Shards of the Heart. I stream on Twitch, and I think that's about it. Thank you for watching.